Let's talk about inscribed angles and quadrilaterals. An inscribed angle is an angle where the vertex is on the circle. The sides of the angle are chords. The arc that lies in the interior of an inscribed angle and has endpoints on the circle is called the intercepted arc. Here's a visual. A polygon is an inscribed polygon if all of its vertices lie on a circle. The circle that contains the vertices is called a circumscribed circle. Quadrilateral ABCD is an inscribed quadrilateral. Circle O is a circumscribed circle. The measure of an inscribed angle is 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. All three of these diagrams show an inscribed angle, and in all cases, the measure of the angle is 1/2 the measure of the arc. We could think of that backwards as well. In reverse, the arc is twice as big as the angle. If angles of the same circle intercept the same arc, then the angles are congruent. Notice that all of these angles, the red angle, the blue angle, the green angle, all intercept the same orange arc. That means all three angles are congruent. If a right triangle is inscribed in a circle, then the hypotenuse is a diameter of the circle. That would have to be true because it's an inscribed angle, and if it's a 90-degree inscribed angle, the arc it intercepts would be 180, and that's a semicircle. If a quadrilateral is inscribed in a circle, then its opposite angles are supplementary. Supplementary means that they add up to 180. So in this diagram, angle A and angle C are supplementary. Their angle measures add up to 180 degrees. The same is true for angles B and D. Here's some other examples. In number 1, we have an inscribed angle. The measure of that angle would be 1/2 the measure of the arc that is intercepted. 1/2 of 160 is 80 degrees. In number 2, we're going to work backwards. This time we're given the angle, and since the angle is 1/2 the arc would have to be twice as big as the angle. So arc BC has a measure of 76 degrees. In example 3, we will start by finding the measure of arc CD. Be careful. The angle that is associated with this arc is a central angle, not an inscribed angle, so the measure is the same as the intercepted arc. We talked about central angles the other day. The measure of arc BC completes the semicircle. So we are going to subtract 142 degrees from 180 degrees. The measure of arc BC is 38 degrees. And then we are able to find the measure of angle BAC. Because it is an inscribed angle, it will be half the measure of the intercepted arc. 1/2 of 38 is 19 degrees. Our diagrams are getting more and more angles and segments within. This time for our diagram, we're given some information. We're given the fact that the measure of arc LM is 84 degrees. Label your diagram. We're also given the fact that the measure of arc KN is 116 degrees. Label your diagram. Now we're going to find the measure of angle JKL. If I look closely, that angle intercepts a semicircle. So that means we've got a right triangle, and the angle must be a 90-degree angle. What about the measure of angle KMN? It intercepts the arc that has a measure of 116 degrees. So the measure of the inscribed angle would be half of 116 degrees, which is 58 degrees. Finally, the measure of angle KLN. It also intercepts the arc that has a measure of 116 degrees. So it is also 1/2 of 116 degrees, or 58 degrees. Final example. We've got a quadrilateral that is inscribed in a circle. We're going to take the given information and label the quadrilateral. The measure of angle E is x squared plus 15 degrees. The measure of angle F is 27x degrees. The measure of angle G is 6x squared minus 10 degrees. That's all the information we have aside from the theorem that told us opposite angles are supplementary. Angle E and angle G must be supplementary. So we'll set up an equation. We don't even need the measure of angle F. 6x squared minus 10 plus x squared plus 15 would equal 180 degrees. Combine like terms. Subtract 5. Divide by 7 and take the square root. We would get two values for x. We would get a positive or negative 5. But since we're talking about degree measure, we would only keep the positive value. X is equal to 5.